What is the key to happiness? What's the key to success? Today I will be detailing 10 strategies that happy, successful people use on a daily basis. And they're pretty simple. Stay tuned. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Colleen. My name is Colleen Hammond. Today we're going to continue talking about success and what success means to you, because everybody has a different idea of what success is. So it has to be unique to who you are. And once you know who it is you want to be and the things that you want to accomplish, then you have a better idea of what success means for you. But scientific studies have shown that there are 10 things that happy people, successful people do that are consistent. And the thing about happiness and success is that happiness comes first. It's not like once I'm successful, I'll be happy. Happiness comes first. And once you're happy, then the success follows after that. So then you can do the great work and success will come. So you're intentional about what happiness means to you. And am I going to be happy today? Or, you know, like the other day I had some foods and there's certain foods that I can't eat because they make me sick or they make me feel really depressed, and wheat, grains, those types of things. So the children had a bunch of people over the other day. And so, oh, I went to pizza. And oh yeah, the party atmosphere. I just walked by, had a piece of pizza, half a piece of pizza. And for 3 days I suffered. And the next morning I woke up and I was so depressed. I'm like, why am I so depressed? Because I had that piece of pizza. Not because, oh, boo-hoo, I had a piece of pizza, now I ruined my diet. No, I have an actual physiological response to the wheat that makes me depressed. So, wait a minute, why do I feel this way? I don't feel depressed. Oh, I know why. It's because I had that piece of pizza yesterday. I had foods that I wasn't supposed to eat. My body's trying to process it, so I'm not doing well. So I'm not going to be depressed. It's just a chemical reaction in my body, so there's no reason to get all boo-hoo and wallow in this. I know what it's from. I made a decision to not allow myself to feel depressed. And most of the time, your happiness is intentional. You make an intent. This is my intent. I am not going to succumb to this. And I choose happiness. I choose joy. And that's one of the things that you can do. So some of the things that are really consistent about happy, peppy people are that they encourage others. When you're around happy people, they're not down. Can you hear the train in the background? They're encouraging other people. They like to uplift other people. They realize that happiness is not a zero-sum game. And what do we mean by that? Zero-sum means there's only a certain amount to go around. And happiness isn't that way. Happiness actually multiplies. The more you give happiness away, the happier you become. So when you can look to other people and encourage other people and find things to compliment them about, they're happier and you're happier. So also when you look at somebody and you're like, okay, I'm going to compliment this person about something that's true and genuine, it causes you to use a different part of your brain, which encourages more creativity, number one, and your imagination, number two. And again, you're not lying when you're encouraging somebody else, and when you're giving them a compliment. You're giving them a real compliment, but what you're doing is you have to stop and think, if only for just a second, but you still have to stop and consider, what is it about this person that I like, that I can encourage them, that I can compliment them about? I got something in my throat. Hold on one second. So using your creativity to encourage others makes them happy and makes you happy as well. Using your gifts. We're all given special gifts. Everybody is unique. Stop hiding your gifts. You know, if you have something that has been gifted to you, don't hide it under the bushel. Use the gifts that you have been given unapologetically, because you're the only one that has that particular gift that's used in that particular way. right? So when you take the things that you're already good at, my friend Rhonda, we had her on a couple of weeks ago talking about strengths finders. She's a strengths finders coach. She said something the other day. She said about excellence comes from perfecting things that you're already good at. You can't be a jack of all trades. You got to find those things that you're good at and perfect them. That's where excellence comes from. Excellence doesn't come from a bunch of mediocrity. So taking your gifts, developing them, because when opportunity knocks, that's not when you start preparing, right? So the things that you're good at, get better at them and focusing on your strengths. So using your gifts, when you do something that you enjoy doing and that you're good at, doesn't that make you happy? There's nothing wrong with that, right? So use your gifts unapologetically and make them better. Number 3, people around you will shape your thinking. Now, I watched a video the other day by Steve Sims, and I think he's the best. I just think he's great. And he was talking about those people in your life. I think he called it like a cocktail test or something like that. If you're walking down the street and you see people across the street from you that you know that are either from your church or from your workplace or people that you have chosen to work with in your business, if you are self-employed or an entrepreneur, or do you hide from them? Or do you go, oh my gosh, hi, let's go get a drink. Let's go to the pub and tip a few, right? Which do they fall into? And if they're people that you want to say hello to and sit down with and share time with, keep those people in your life. But if you see somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, I hope they don't see me, those are the people that you don't necessarily have to keep in your life because they shape your thinking. Now, you may not think that they do. Do you have people like that in your life that you would like, and they could be in your family? That happens. But reduce that, because what happens is when you have an interaction with somebody, it shapes your thinking in that moment and residually afterwards, so that the next person you speak with on the phone or the next person you see at the store is going to be impacted by your negative association that you had just had 5 minutes ago. So raise your hand, do you have somebody in your life that kind of brings you down? Reduce your exposure to that person. And if all possible, you don't have to be with them if you choose not to. I mean, if you choose to be in their life as a positive influence, that's on you. That's fine. But the people that you associate with the most shape your thinking and shape your actions and determine your future. So if you have positive influence, if you decided I want to grow in this particular virtue or this particular whatever, you want to surround yourself with people who already do that, so that you can see how they're doing and pick up, because birds of a feather flock together. Can't fly with eagles if you're hanging around with turkeys, as my mom used to say. So the hardest part really is making that decision to cut them out of your life. Once that decision is made, then it's easy. Block, hit the block button. The first person I blocked, the first block is always the hardest. After that, it's like, psh, block. Thank you, Facebook, for giving me that block option. So once you make that decision, then the joy comes. So being able to, and then kind of deal with the regret. It's like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I learn about this block button? Gracious, right? So every word is either a flower in your life or a brick. Is it bruising you and cutting you down or lifting you up? And who are the people around you that you can lift up? So sometimes I forget the joke, but sometimes it's like, it was like this bishop and it was out and he was having the best golf game of his life or whatever. And his friend dropped dead of a heart attack. And so he was like, hit the ball, drag Charlie, hit the ball, drag Charlie. And sometimes we feel that way in our life where we're trying to get ahead and we feel like we're dragging people behind us. And that's not necessarily the best way that God wants you to be. If that's your mission, by all means. But I think God wants us to set the example, not force people. You can't lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So number 4 is mindfulness. And we throw that word around a lot, mindfulness. What does that mean? It just means paying attention. means focusing on what's going on around you, because you can't change what you don't see or you don't recognize. So paying attention to your personal life, paying attention to other people. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and I said, this is why I teach women how to dress, so that when they walk out of the house, they're not worried. They're not tugging and pulling and worried, does this make my butt look fat, or whatever. And they can focus on service. They can focus on other people. And that's the core of why I do what I do, is when you can get your head in order and your outfits in order, you're not in your head all the time. You're mindful. You're paying attention to people around you and to situations around you. And sometimes your mind can play tricks on you, because sometimes you can say, oh yeah, I can do this. And the next minute it's like, oh no, I can't, So paying attention, like I was paying attention about the pizza the other day. Pay attention. Why am I feeling this way? What has led to this? How did this happen? Not only for you in your own life, but also the people around you as well. Number 5 is your skills. Bring your best. Every time you do something, whether it's cleaning the bathroom, emptying the dishwasher, making a meal, writing an outline, driving your car, I don't care what it is, but always bringing your best, doing the best that you are able to, and understanding that, you just kind of think about it. It's like, don't live like me, lukewarm. You want to quote the Bible on that one? What did our Lord say about the lukewarm? It will spew you from my mouth, right? So don't live in mediocrity. Everything you do, choose to do it to your best at that particular moment. The best you can, given your circumstances, given the time allotment, whatever it is, do the best you can at that moment. And if you're finding you have too much on your plate and you don't have time to do the best you can, then we need to talk about nipping some stuff out of your calendar. Number 6, stop. Stop working. Have fun. Again, this goes back to choosing happiness. We've talked about this before, and do the thing you need to do without complaint. Just do it. I don't know how many times I've said that to my children. It's like, you spent more time complaining about having to do it than it would have taken to do it. How long? Seriously, I've timed things. How long does it take to empty the dishwasher? Maybe a minute and a half. Or you can mope about it and wallow about it and drag your feet and make that emptying the dishwasher last 10 minutes and you're miserable about it, right? Or you can make it fun. Listen to a podcast, listen to your favorite music, listen to music that uplifts you, listen to something, a lecture, an audiobook, a sermon, whatever it is that you enjoy, make it fun. Stop working and start having fun. Choose joy, choose fun, choose happiness. That's what happy people do. How can you be happy sometimes you're scrubbing the floor? I don't know. I'm just doing my best, scrubbing the floor, thinking about good things. Choose to stop working and start having fun. It's in that feeling, right? Lower your expectations too. You know what? People are just not going to understand you, and that's okay. It's frustrating, and frustration comes from misplaced expectations. What do I mean by that? You get frustrated when I thought they would really like that, or I thought people would laugh when I said that, or I really thought that I wouldn't have to explain to him that that's what I wanted, that he would understand that, when you expect things from other people and they don't live up to your expectation, especially if you didn't tell them, it's an expectation. It's not, detailed in what I expect from you. It's your internal expectation. That's where your frustration comes from. So lower your expectations. Don't expect people to approve of you, number one. Think about the person who knows you the best. Do they truly understand you? Do you sometimes truly understand yourself? Sometimes we don't even understand ourselves. So don't expect people to understand you, lower your expectations, and understand that some people will like you, some won't. So what? Focus on the people who do understand you, who do like you, who do love you, and serve them, be with them, choose them. Too often we look, and I remember this, I've told this story before. I remember Uh, oh my gosh, Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez said she got 50,000 people in this stadium, and there was a guy down in the front row that was just, everybody else is dancing and being happy. And instead of focusing on the 49,999 other people that were there, that loved her, that were happy, that were joyful, she was focusing on this one guy. What can I do to make him smile? What can I do? And ignoring the 49,999 other people who love her and were there for her and were there to support her. So who is that one person in your life? And are you focusing on them, or are you focusing on the other people who understand you, who love you? Because it goes back to that old saying that for those who have belief, no explanation is necessary. For those without belief, no explanation is possible. The same applies to us. You know, when somebody misunderstands you, it's almost like willfully. Sometimes somebody, it seems like they willfully misunderstand you. That is not even close to what I said. That is not close to what I wrote. You know, I was like, posted that the other day on my Facebook page. It's not about you, you know. And no explanation is possible with someone like that. But with people who understand you or who love you, and you say something and it may have been taken two ways, they'll choose to take it the positive way, where some other people will choose to take it the negative way. And for them, no explanation is possible. For your other people, no explanation is necessary. So remember to lower your expectations and understand that there's just going to be some people who don't get you. It's all right. Move along. Number 8. Your faith, here I go again. Excuse me. Your faith is essential. And you want to have faith in who brought you this far. Who brought you here? Right? And your friends. And remember, and I haven't talked about this in a long time, the blood of the covenant, you know the old saying, blood is thicker than water? That's actually a condensed version of the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. And it comes from the battlefield. And soldiers in battle, when they had a covenant with each other to be there, no man left behind, right? And they would be shoulder to shoulder, shedding their blood together. Their bond was thicker than the bond that they had with their siblings. The water of the womb. So that's where that saying actually comes from. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So the people that you are in the arena with, as Roosevelt talked about, is being in the arena, not up in the stands. Don't listen to the hecklers in the stands. You're listening to the people who are in the arena with you, battling with you. So having your faith is essential, and happy people have a strong sense of faith and strong friendships with people that they are in battle with. So having your faith and having your friends are essential. Number 9 is your history. Rewrite your history. You don't like your history? Close the book on it. It's history. Nothing you need to change it. It's too late to change it now, right? Change it. And take where you are at this point and rewrite your story. Decide what you want your story to be now. What's your future history? I don't oxymoron. What's your future history going to be? Your past does not determine your future. You are not predestined to any particular path. You have free will and can choose what path you want to go down. And again, a lot of it can be based on who you're hanging out with, right? And that happens in life, where we have friends in high school. Do you still have friends from high school that you still keep in touch with and hang out with, that you know? I've met a few on Facebook since that we were kind of friends in school, but you know, now we're better friends now, you know, than we were in high school. Then you go off to school, you go to college, and now you're in a new atmosphere, and maybe you have some friends back home that didn't go to college. So you don't have quite as much in common with them as you do with this new band of brothers, this new covenant of people, right, that you are in college with. And then after college, do you still see people that you went to college with? So after college, you move out, you get a job. And sometimes you'll stay in touch with those people from college. I have a few people I still keep in touch with from college. And then you go get a job, and now you're in a new atmosphere. You're growing, you're learning, you're experiencing new things. So maybe you've moved to a different country, or you moved to a different state, or even to a different city. And you look back at your friends from high school that didn't go to college, never left their city. They're still there. You don't have as much in common with them anymore. Doesn't mean they're a bad person. It doesn't mean you still don't keep in touch with them, but you don't have as much in common with them as you do the new people that are sharing your life experiences and sharing your growth and sharing the things you are now involved with. And if you go back to a high school reunion and you see an old friend from high school and you're talking about, you know, oh my gosh, this art, I just was so lucky I got to go to France and I went to the Louvre and right? Brian Regan, sorry. Brian Regan reference. And that person's like, how snobby. But for you, it's like, oh, I was so excited. I was so blessed. I got to go to France. I got to go to the Louvre. I got to see these things. And it was beautiful. And who knew the Mona Lisa was so tiny? You know, I thought it was a huge painting. You know, those are the things you're experiencing in your life now. And when you go back and talk to somebody that is from your past, they may not be able to relate. So it's okay to have new friendships. Once you get married, now you're single friends. You don't hang out with them as much anymore. Now you have married friends. And then you have children. Well, then you have your friends who don't have children and friends who have children. Who are you hanging out more with now? Your friends with children, because we have similar discussions. Do you see what I mean? So other people's decisions from your past, or what other people think about you, doesn't determine your destiny. Only you do. And those people that you choose to keep around you that will help you, that are wanting to help and encourage you and aren't intimidated by the fact that you are growing in a new direction, you're learning new things, you're experiencing new things. Because we all have that sense of creativity. God gave us all this desire to learn. And they always say we don't use all of our brains. We just don't have enough time. We don't live long enough to develop enough part of our brains. So our brains are constantly like little sponges. We want to learn more. So your past does not determine your future. You, at this point, can map out. And that's what we're doing in the Gorgeous Gals group and with this coaching program. That's what week 1 is. Mapping out. What's your idea of where I want to be at the end of my life? To define at the end of my life, on my deathbed, who do I want to be? Who do I want to have become at that point? Decide that and then map out a plan for that. And number 10, the very last one, kind of ties into that, is personal growth. Happy people are constantly improving themselves, whether it's their knowledge or their virtue, hopefully. They're always growing in virtue. They never stop growing. They never stop developing who they are as a person, because you're like an onion. Everything is hidden inside of you, and you just kind of keep peeling away the layers of you, of who you are and who you want to become and who God wants you to become as well. It's not really a sermon, but kind of ties in all of that together. So those are the 10 strategies that happy, successful people use in their daily lives. And remember, happiness doesn't come first, or I mean, success doesn't come first. Happiness comes first. So choose to be happy, and then everything in your life can be a success. So that's it for today. If you're watching live, I'll be back to answer questions. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and then click the bell so that you'll know when I update my information or upload a new video. All right. Again, we'll see you next time, normally Monday through Friday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on Facebook Live. I'll see you tomorrow.